I love that.
Hello, podcast community. I'm so inspired to present our new interview guest. It is Susanne. I hope I
That's right.
pronounced your name, Susanne. And we met through the Phase 2 community. And I would like you to present yourself first.
Yeah. I saw your post that you're doing this podcast, and I felt very inspired to reach out. As I just quickly mentioned earlier, I had some travel days, so I was like postponing the idea of signing up for your podcast. But today, my intuition basically was like, no, you should check if the post is still available. So here I am. Susanne is like correct with my last name, very German. I am currently just, I would say, living my best life, following my intuition and just going with the flow. So opportunities like being part of your podcast is something quite interesting, and it's just like it works with the flow. It's just like opportunities showing up, and then it's all about, is it for me? Is it not? Do I feel something about it? Do I feel inspired about it? So here we are.
Wow, this is so amazing. This is inspiring already for me. Yes. So my first question is, what inspires you?
That's an amazing question. I would say life in general and the unlimited opportunities we can create and like live. So I feel a lot of people, they often ask themselves, like, what is life about? And I feel the answer, which works for me the best, is life is there to be lived, and whatever that means for everyone individually. Um, I, for myself, feel very inspired to live a very free life right now. But I can understand if people are like, hey, that's not for me. I'm looking for a bit more like stability, and I like to stay at the same place. But I feel the knowledge to be aware you can basically create and do anything in your life, and it's never too late to change anything about your reality. It's just like one decision away, whatever you're looking for.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, that's
That's true, and thank you for the reminder. It's one decision away. I made this decision at the age of 45. And you said it's never too late. Yes, that's true. And everything happens for a reason. So people that want to stay at one place, it's okay. People who wants to travel the world, it's okay as well. Yes, everything is allowed. What you believe is true. And my next question for you is, who inspires you?
that's a very good question. I I wouldn't say someone particular. I would say generally people who live their authentic self. If someone is like, I don't give a fuck, this is who I am, and there's like unapologetically, that's who I am, that is very inspiring for myself, and I think for a lot of people. But um I feel sometimes it's weird when people have like crushes on like famous people, like, and they're like, oh my God, I've met Harry Styles. And I'm like, yeah, he's just another human. So I never could like really uh relate to like this, I don't know, waiting for someone because they're like known for something, where I feel like there are like so many people in the world, they can inspire you. um and I think, as I said in the beginning, like the most inspired I'm with people who are like, don't give a fuck, and they're just like truly like their authentic self, 100%.
Oh, yes. So there's no one particularly that you name because you don't want to put someone on a pedestal. And I had this in a previous podcast episode that the people that inspires us are just the messengers. They transport the message that inspires us, but it's never about the people or the person. Yeah, I would say I would translate that to what I get from your answer. You wouldn't.
Yeah, I do feel like you can be inspired, like, by inspiration is more like, I don't know, getting a hint from, someone else. Like they do something where you feel like very drawn to do it yourself. So it's more like this, other people can remind you of things you might desire as well. And that's like the inspiration part for myself. So I do feel like, yeah, they're absolutely like famous people, they inspire me. But I think it's a bit silly to put people, as you said, like on a pedestal and be like, oh, they're like more important, or like all that bullshit people come up with, like because they are famous, where I feel like everyone can inspire you at any second in your life.
And everyone can be famous. So to say
Totally.
famous is a label as well. Yeah, I understand. I totally understand. It's about not being a copy of someone else. It's about being an original. Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
And how do you inspire other people?
I think that I inspire people, or I feel I inspire people by living my true self and being exactly the example of like, hey, you can also not give a fuck about anything and just live whatever you feel like. Which is very interesting sometimes, because people then say things to me like, oh, I could never do that. I'm like, you can absolutely. It's just like, if you see something in my life where you feel like this is not for me, that's totally fine. But if you limit yourself and you're just like, oh, I could not do that because I'm not brave enough, that's a lot of bullshit, which I feel people should definitely let go. So I think people have given me the feedback that they think that I'm brave, which doesn't, I don't feel brave. I just feel like I take decisions for my life where I'm like inspired, or like about things I desire to do. But I can understand if you live like mm, a very, I say, like expected way of living, like you finish your school, you get a good job, you do all these things. If you see someone who's absolutely not doing that and has like, I don't know, I had like a cannabis company and I did like a lot of stuff, you know, like from a dog trainer to cannabis company to whatever I'm doing right now, people are like, wow, you're so crazy, you're so brave. And I'm like, no, I'm just living whatever I feel like living, right? And yeah, I think that that's what people get inspired to.
And also about what intuition tells you to do. If you listen to the inner voice and you follow it, then you are in alignment, I would say, with your
Totally.
higher self. Yeah, you are in alignment, and you don't feel the contrast so much about when you live this expected life. It's the question, who expected that from you? And it's your parents or your husband or whoever, or your lower self, so to say, the inner voice, not the inner voice, but the conditioned voice. And then you have contrast every day about, no, I don't like this. How do I change it? And if you say, people say, I can't do this, it's because of this sentence and this belief they cannot do it. Yes, this is so inspiring.
Totally.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I do agree. And I think this is like why I love the phase two community very much compared to like other um I would say like self-growth or like spiritual communities, because it's very simple. It's just like feel your feelings, follow your intuition, do whatever the fuck you want to do. And I think when people are telling that, there are like some people, they get it in a way like, oh, so that means we're killing everyone, you know, like, and I'm like, oh, this is actually what you desire. Yeah, that's a bit sad, because you can do basically anything, and you're worried about that. If everyone would just do what they feel inspired and motivated to do, so people would just like kill themselves, you know, like in this. And I'm like, wow, that's like, you basically should get like a huge change of perspective, because there's like so much more. There's like so much to explore in life, and it is very simple if you let go of the labels and the judgments, and you just like simply feel your feelings and follow your intuition. Um, but for myself, I know like my self-growth journey started by like a situation in my life where I was like, oh, I don't feel anything about that. I feel that's not okay. And then I started to basically rediscover my own feelings and learned like, oh, you know, it's normal to feel your feelings. It's not normal to not feel them. So I feel this is something I'm like fascinated by in a sense, because I'm like, wow, we live like in this, I don't know, with all these opportunities, and people are afraid of feeling their feelings, but that's basically how we create things, right? Feeling our feelings and following our intuition. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And this freedom of choice, it can be scaring to people, of course. And we can give by living as an example or role model. We can show that it's possible. A different way of life is possible. Wow,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
inspiring. Thank you so much. So my next question is, what are your gifts and talents for the world?
That's a very good question. Um, right now, I think I'm like so much in tune with just doing what I feel inspired and motivated to do, that my perspective has changed from like things I would like probably say they're like my talents. Um, I love to help. So most of the things I'm doing right now is like basically going into companies and helping them build like a structure for like teams and building like customer service teams. Because what I love about that is like this unique set of people who come together, and like every project is just like different. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel I'm very excited about like following my intuition, because for the last couple of months that has just like opened so many crazy opportunities, and opportunities I've never had like in mind, or I've never would have like gone after for myself, because do I have the skill set, and right, and then if you follow your intuition, it's just like, hey, there's an opportunity, how you feel about that? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, yeah, I could do that, right? And it's just like giving me even more fun and more things to experience. So we will see what that means for the future. I'm very excited.
Wow, that sounds great. It's about when you said you got opportunities and you just have to grab them and say yes after
Totally.
questioning your feelings about it. And it's so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's much more easier than I would have expected, because I've been like, I would say like self-employed in a sense since, I don't know, I'm 18 or 19. And I went through all the, this is how you do marketing and this is how you do sales, and I learned from all the gurus, right, and all the people, and it never felt right for me, because I'm more like, hey, if I go with my flow, I actually feel inspired. I feel videos I post on my social media are like, they are just much better because I actually wanted to do them, compared to, oh, you should post once a day and you should do this and that. So I think in an unknowing way, I've done it for a while, but now it's just like very clear and easy. Like a lot of stuff has like fell off, and I'm like, yeah, why would you bother to do something you don't want to do if you could, I don't know, just pay someone to do things, or you get like opportunities where you're like, that sounds interesting, but I don't feel anything. I consult my intuition, and she's like, no, not right now, right? And then you just let it go, and that doesn't mean there's not like something else coming after. It's just like this constant flow of, I don't know, exciting stuff happening in my reality.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I can feel it. Yes, I can feel
Yeah.
it. Talk. Okay. And my last question is, if you have offer services or are you seeking something you can exchange with the community, people can connect to you. Yes. What would you
Yeah,
say?
so like direct offer, I don't have any right now, because I don't know when the podcast episode will be online, and I'm not sure about like how I will continue my coaching calls in January. But of course, people can connect with me on like TikTok or Instagram, or I have a YouTube channel. I'm a bit lazy on these like social platforms. That means I'm talking in German, but I'm happy if someone wants to reach out and just connect, and we'll see what that might mean.
Yeah, you said you are originally from Germany, you live in Spain, and we are talking in English now. This is so I'm connecting people all over the world, and
Yeah.
I'm sure my German fellows, our German fellows, will listen to this episode and then reach out to you, of course, because this is for everyone. I'm connecting languages as well, and yeah, you can reach out.
Are you from Germany as well?
Yes, this is funny because we started talking in English
In
immediately
English.
because I didn't know, but we can get after the recording. So I thank you so
I love
much.
that. Thank
And this
you.
was our episode. And see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Susanne.